All right, you motherfuckers done got me going before I've even gotten in the shower and got dressed. Guys, Harsh Reality dropped a video today talking about Steve Gonsalves' Facebook family page going down. And of course, I made some comments, and I think that's going to be a debate in the future, but I'm going to rant and rave about this shit right here, right now, because some of you motherfuckers out here have a real problem with free speech. Some of you people sit and accuse people of inciting violence and hate speech just because they say some shit you don't like. We're going to talk about some shit. I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time.
Bring it back.
What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JB Gunner, and this is Crime Time, half naked in this motherfucker. Anyways, you guys know the spiel. If you want a sport channel, links as always are down below. If you want to see my other shit, links as always are down below. I'm not going to make this video too damn long because I got to go get my ass in the shower so I can get to my live stream. But what we're going to talk about is the fact that Steve Gonsalves' family page, if you don't know who Steve Gonsalves is, he's the father of one of the victims of the IDAHO 4. Now, Steve Gonsalves is pretty controversial because he's been very outspoken, like any real dad would be when his daughter got murdered, brutally murdered, may I add. And so in this community, there's a split. Some like Steve Gonsalves, some don't. But I think a lot of people fail to recognize and fail to remember that Steve Gonsalves is himself a victim. This is a dude that lost his baby girl. And I think a lot of people need to take that into consideration before opening their mouths. But I want to get to a video that we had that was done today, and I'm talking about with Harsh Reality. Harsh Reality, by the way, kudos, go watch this video. He definitely does great work, even though now that's his new gimmick with the hood up. He wants to look menacing. But shout out to Harsh. We got a debate coming on Sunday. Well, not really necessarily a debate, but a conversation on Sunday. Anyways, Harsh Reality, who is a long-standing hater, I guess you could say, of Steve Gonsalves. You see right here, the G Family Army, which was the Facebook page for the family, got shut down. Now, how did it get shut down? Well, because a bunch of fucking Pro-bergers, which, by the way, I'm on both sides, a bunch of fucking Pro-bergers went and it seems like flagged the channel down. I want you to, when you don't know what side you're on, whether it's good or bad, I just want you to think of that. There is a victim's father and his family page, and you're so attached to this case, like a fucking tard. You people are so attached to this case, people you don't know, that you're going to literally shut down the family page of one of the victims. Flagged it, kept flagging it, mass flagging it, getting it shut down. And they think they're the good guys. They truly believe they're the good guys. I'm not saying Harsh was one of those people flagging. But so anyway, they got the page taken down. I said so, and Harsh came out and he talked about inciting violence, all this shit. That's bullshit. Someone having an opinion on something is not inciting violence. The belief that a father or any family member can't talk about a case until the verdict is ridiculous. Because if that was the case, true crime channels wouldn't exist. If Harsh Reality can talk about the case, then so can Steve Gonsalves. If I can talk about the case, then so can Steve Gonsalves. If some clown in a fucking clown outfit can talk about the case and throw every theory in the world out there, then so can Steve Gonsalves. Let's go ahead and get to this. Because this shit pisses me the fuck off. I said, let's have this same energy for all the people making up their own theories to support. By the way, their entire claim is that because Steve Gonsalves talks about Bryan Kohberger as if he's the killer, that somehow Steve Gonsalves should be taken down because it's inciting hate speech. First of all, if you say the word hate speech in your life, you're probably sucking dick behind the scenes. Any man that uses the word hate speech in their day-to-day life, or bullying, or any of this limp-wristed shit, probably is getting pegged. That's all I'm going to say. And once again, I'm not discussing Harsh. I'm discussing all the people in the chat room, in the comment section, that uses this vernacular. Let's go ahead and I'm just being honest. If you're a grown man and you say the word bully or hate speech, you're probably a leftist, you're probably limp-wristed, and you probably get pegged. And I'm going to leave that at that for now. Anyways, let's have this same energy for all the people making up their theories to support the innocence of Brian Kohlberg. We got to be fair. If a grieving family member can lose their page because someone disagrees with them, then all of these green car and tunnel liars should also lose their social media too. I genuinely hope the other side counters this flag down with flag downs of their own. Since we all of a sudden believe people shouldn't be able to have a family page. The lies and theories I've heard on this website are far more dangerous than anything that grieving father can opine on. If Steve Gonsalves leaked info, then if he's the leak, I get it. But if Steve Gonsalves has to lose his social media, then so does known liars within this community. How Steve loses his page while clowns ranting about tunnels and parachutes still have theirs is insane. All the green car goobers need to be shut down immediately then for attempting to influence the jury pool like you're saying Steve Gonsalves is doing. My point? No one should ever lose their outlet for speech. And that includes Steve Gonsalves, who I'm not a fan of, by the way. So let's get, because of course, obviously, I bring in the comments. I said, looks like we got a third debate topic, my friend. I said, and I followed this up. I said, free speech is free speech. And this enrages me, actually. No one should be able to mass flag down a page just because they don't like the opinion on it. How hard is it to just change the channel or go to another Facebook page and read something else? Like I said, I could understand if they were the source of the leaks. If that was the case, they were doing something criminal. He says, I think the point where this is harsh reality now. I think the point where the G page overstepped is when the page's primary function is to target one specific individual who is yet to be proven guilty. Harsh? By your logic, no one should be able to comment on a suspect until that person is found guilty in the court of law, and that would include us. That would include anyone making any type of negative statements towards a suspect or any type of inference that they're the ones that did it. Is that what you're saying, Harsh? That until they're found guilty in the court of law, no one should be able to have the opinion that they're the suspect or that they're guilty. Let's go ahead and take a look. He says, you then, subsequently yourself as a family, become involved in the promotion of false statements. It's only false because you disagree with it. That erode the ability for this individual to obtain a fair trial while also simultaneously advertise your ongoing efforts to do so. Sometimes it's not so much what is done, it is who you are and what impact your involvement has in comparison to a stranger. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not believe that anyone should be held at a higher standard just because a bunch of fucking people follow them. For instance, Harsh, I do not believe you with 100,000 subscribers are more should be held more responsible for your speech than someone with 1,000 I don't believe you should be held at any higher standard or any different standard. You should be able to say the exact same shit that I say. Do you see my point? Like, this whole belief that because you have a little bit more influence, your words matter is completely ridiculous. It's not, remember Charles, look, man, it's not Charles Barkley's job to raise your children. It's not Marilyn Manson's job to raise your children. It's not Eminem's job to raise your children. And it's not Kanye West's job to raise your children. We'll get to that in a minute, though. When we become a specific size and or carry a degree of influence, sadly, that becomes with a degree of responsibility. I absolutely disagree. And sadly for the G family, they lost sight of their ultimate responsibility, and that was to do what was needed to be done to help support the pursuit of justice for their slain child. Let me ask you, Harsh, do you go to all the different Facebook pages that do this? when there's a crime or a murder or something like that, do you go to all them justice for whoever, especially in the world of the Tyrones? We need justice for Tyrone Quavius Mustafa III, blah, blah, blah. Do you go to them pages and say, you shouldn't be doing this? You shouldn't be having a justice for Tyrone Quavius Mustafa III page on Facebook? I'm pretty sure you don't. And no, it doesn't come with responsibility. It's not my responsibility. It's not Steve Gonsalves' responsibility to do the police's job for them, to do the prosecution's job for them. At all. If Steve wants to have a family Facebook page and a memorial for his fucking murdered daughter, I think that's pretty fucking reasonable. Let's continue. Due to the weaponization of their media channel, you mean just the use of it against the opinion that you hold? Their own statements and their personal connection to the case, it sadly placed them in a position, and it was inevitably going to end bad, as it was affecting the incoming trial and the impact of public perception around it. So you believe that the only people that should be able to influence the people are the Pro-bergers? Ain't that a bitch? Now, maybe I got that wrong. I just want to make this clear. I don't know about you, but I live in a country where freedom of speech is highly appreciated. It's not Steve Gonsalves' job to make sure Brian Kohlberger has a fair trial. If Steve Gonsalves believes Brian Kohlberger did it, he should be able to sit here and say, fuck that murderous homo, whatever. He should be able to say that every fucking day on his wherever. And it's okay. You're allowed to be wrong. People are allowed to be wrong. And if Steve Gonsalves wants to sit on his fucking Facebook page and rant about how horrible of a person he thinks the suspected killer of his child is, I think that's pretty reasonable and should be accepted. Anyway, let's continue. People should indeed have freedom of speech, but not to the detriment of another person's right to a fair trial. So you're saying that no one should be able to suspect someone as guilty? What about all the questions and the fucking skepticism you create against the state? Don't you think that you're influencing people? Don't you think I'm influencing people? Your theory breaks down when you're basically an influencer on the internet and you're saying people shouldn't be allowed to be influencers. If that's the case, Harsh, then shut your channel down. Just shut it down. If you truly believe that people shouldn't be able to have influence and use their opinion to have influence, there's a delete button on your channel. Put your money where your mouth is and just hit the button. You won't, just like I don't want you to, but you won't because that's the fallacy in your argument. And you know what I'm saying is right. If Steve can't have influence, then you can't have influence. I can't have influence. That goddamn clown with the tunnels can't have influence. You know what I'm saying is true. That fucking old man Gray Hughes, he deserves to have his influence just like you deserve to have yours. And you guys are on two different sides. So I think we can certainly agree to that. I said, I feel bad for the family, but, oh no, this is somebody else, Salty Mamas or whatever the fuck. Says, I feel bad for the family, but Steve coming out accusing before a trial is unconstitutional. I cannot stand when people don't know the goddamn Constitution, but yet they want to bring up the Constitution. I want you to look at the craziness, the fucking craziness in this comment. I feel bad for the family, but Steve coming out accusing before trial is actually unconstitutional. No, it's not. Our First Amendment specifically grants Steve Gonsalves the right to come out and accuse someone. Our Constitution also allows the accused to face the accuser. All you got to do is read it. That's all you got. The thing about this Constitution thing is, all you got to do is read it. That's it. Anyways, and then she goes on to continue, accusing him as factual before a trial is against our beautiful Constitution. It's called due process. Lady, you sound like Kristi Noem sitting there in front of the Congress not being able to define due process or, habeas corpus. So you sound like that, okay? I can sit here and accuse you of being a bitch. And there's nothing you could do about it. You don't get to say, well, I haven't been with the trial yet. You don't get to accuse me of being a bitch until I'm proven to be a bitch. Our Constitution allows for people who are on trial for murder, for the public to have access to that murder and create their own opinion and say, I think that motherfucker's guilty. Now all of a sudden you goddamn liberals you're constitutionalists all of a sudden? You're constitutionalists now, all of a sudden? Sorry, I had to take a break and go do something real quick. But anyway, getting back to this, let's jump back over. I just want to make this clear. Unless you've read the Constitution, you have no business being on the internet talking about the Constitution because you're clearly wrong. Violating Steve Gonsalves's First Amendment of the Constitution is not acceptable in this situation. Just like you can't violate Harsh's or mine. So let's continue. Harsh says this is going to become a weekly segment at this rate, JB. Yeah, absolutely. And I said, should Kanye West be removed for his latest song despite him never calling for violence? Maybe the UK says yes, but here in America, we say no. Kanye has all kinds of influence. Does this mean he shouldn't be able to be a fan of a world leader that many people love just because it offends the rest? And look, some people love Hitler, and they should be allowed to love Hitler. Stalin, Mao, any of these motherfuckers. You got to remember these people became world leaders for a reason. It's because many people loved them. Should Kanye not be able to say what he says in his new song? Should he not be able to say it? Oh, it might hurt some feelings. Who the fuck cares? Let's see. G. Gary says, that must be rough living in La La Land where for over 2 years you guilters have been dead ass wrong at every turn. We haven't been wrong at all. And I'm not even a guilter. Wrong about the 8 hours. Wrong about the 911 call. And wrong about the actual suspect vehicle. Oh, so now we're going to pull the whole green. No, everything this guy just said was completely made up. Just because you're biased, deaf and dumb. Now, I want you to look at the way this dude spells. Doesn't mean that AI have to be as well. My mother blessed me with a high functioning G brain, unlike some. I want you to see, this is always the funniest shit about the internet. When someone literally tries to insult another person's intelligence while spelling like a 5-year-old, while literally spelling like a goddamn 5-year-old. There is nothing better or funnier in the world than that shit. I said he said the green car is not evidence, is not equivalent to ridiculous tunnel theory that they, no, it's all the same. Anyway, says maybe they were one of the sources, mate, is what Harsh said. And I agree with that. If he was one of the sources, then he needs to go. But if he's not one of the sources, then this is just you people wanting people shut down for having an opinion that you don't have. We are getting to the point where you people are so attached to your guilter or pro-burger side, you think the other side should be shut down. And I have to disagree with both of you on that sense. That's the equivalent of me hating libtards so much I think Hassan Piker or some leftist should be shut down. You people are borderline. Like, you guys are way too attached to this shit. When you think, and you've gotten to the point where you think that a father of the victim should be silenced from criticizing Brian Kohlberger. Let that sink in, and that should tell you how far gone you motherfuckers are. You want to silence and get rid of the First Amendment for Steve Gonsalves. All so you don't have to hear someone talking bad about Brian Kohlberger. That is crazy. You guys are groupies. And this is essentially why I left the Pro-berger group. Because you guys are fucking groupies. I would rather be on the other side and not be intertwined with you motherfuckers. Because now we're to the point where you want to shut down the speech of the people that don't think like you. And in my world, we can never allow that. So Kanye needs to let that banger song keep playing, and you guys can keep being butthurt. 1488 all day. And Steve Gonsalves should be able to still rant and rave about Brian Kohlberger. By the way, and Harsh and that clown guy should be able to still rant and rave and talk about how they think Kohlberger's innocent. And I understand there's going to be a lot of you that says, well, Facebook isn't, free speech ain't the same. No, listen. That's what people always say when they want some other shit banned. But then they start crying when they get shadow banned. They start crying when YouTube takes down their comments. Why are you taking down my comments? You afraid of the truth? Do you understand what I'm saying? The same people that's okay with other people getting banned sit and whine and cry if they post something and they feel like they got shadow banned. They're like, oh, it's a conspiracy. They're coming after us. You guys are fucking clowns. Almost all of you. Almost all of you. Just complete hypocrites. You deserve your free speech. You deserve to come up with every fucking stupid goddamn theory you come up with. It's a green car. It was in the tunnel, and the green car had parachutes. You have the right to come up with that stupid shit, which will influence the jury as well. Then Steve Gonsalves has the right to say, fuck Brian Kohlberger. And you guys ain't seeing that. And by the way, just for the record, hate speech is acceptable. And it's not inciting violence. If Steve Gonsalves is saying, fuck Kohlberger, I know he did it. That's not inciting violence. And it's not even hate speech. I think you guys forget what hate speech is. Hate speech is not me explaining my displeasure, my dislike in you, or your theory, or what it is you do. There are specific definitions of hate speech. And there's definitely specific definitions of incitement to violence. That's the way this works. Now, do I engage in hate speech? You're goddamn right I do. But I also don't sit and cry and whine about it. Ain't it funny how all of you, the minute your opinions are challenged, you immediately lash out with ad hominems. And then when a motherfucker fires back on you, you start crying about hate speech and blah, blah, blah. Y'all are bitches. Just complete hypocritical bitches. Go watch Harsh's video. It's a good video. However, I disagree heavily with the concept, the notion that someone's constitutional right of free speech should be, or let's just go Facebook, his right there to have a Facebook group and rant about the suspected killer of his family. I don't think he should not be able to do that just because you don't think Brian Kohlberger did it. Why don't you create a page proving that Brian Kohlberger didn't do it? How about that? How about that? This assault on assault's the wrong word, on Steve Gonsalves is classless. I get it. Harsh has had a personal thing with Gonsalves. They've talked and shit. So my opinion isn't necessarily darted at Harsh. But you people in that comment section that are so angry that all I'm simply doing is supporting Steve Gonsalves' free speech and his right to criticize Brian Kohlberger, which, by the way, Brian Kohlberger is the official suspect of this crime. For you to sit here and honestly tell me you don't believe a father of a murder victim should be able to criticize the arrested suspect of the crime is insane to me. I think I'm done with this page for a week or two, man. Y'all have a good day. Shit. Whoa, y'all fucked up my Friday early. I can't do this fucking retard shit. Not for the next week or two. I'll see y'all in a while. I'll catch y'all on the other side. Shit.